What's up, guys? We have made it. Opening day is tonight. Yankees at Giants on Netflix, which I'm not sure how I feel about. But opening day tonight, 8 p.m., Yankees Giants. We have finally made it. Thank you to everybody that was watching the videos, reacting to the videos, interacting with me throughout this entire offseason. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. But we're here. It's opening day. As you saw in the intro from my kids, this is the episode I've been waiting for a long time. Awards predictions. I'm very, very excited for this one. My kids are heavily involved, as you will see throughout this episode. First, I want to give a shout out to W Energy. Go check them out. Link is below. Use promo code BATBOY. Get 10% off. Get you some energy drinks. Get you some hydration drinks. Get you a hat and all that fun stuff. Go check them out. Promo code BATBOY. All right. Let's get right into it. There's a lot of awards. There's a lot of predictions for divisions and wild cards and World Series and all that I'm going to make. So I'm going to try to keep the explanations minimal. All of these players don't really need an introduction. Let's be completely honest. We know who they all are. So I'm not going to go into details because I pretty much went into details on most of them in the team-specific episodes. So go check those out if you need to see. If you don't know who these people are, that's awesome. That's the type of people that I'm actually looking for in this show / podcast, whatever you want to call it. Trying to bring new fans to baseball, get the kids involved, have them get other kids interested in baseball, revamp this fan base. Let's get right into it. The first award of the night, I'm going to pass it over to my kids now.
American League Rookie of the Year will be, let's see, Trey Savage. Yeah!
Trey is Savage, and I will say I picked this before the injury came out. It's looking like he's going to miss a couple weeks. I don't think that's going to matter. I think as long as he makes 20 starts or more, he's going to be fine. He was so dominant in the playoffs last year. His stuff is so nasty. The team is going to be extremely good. I think it's just going to be okay. All he needs to do is really be healthy, in my opinion, to win this award. The fact that he was able to handle the big stage in the playoffs and the World Series, I think the regular season is going to be a piece of cake, and I think he's going to be just fine. I think he's going to win AL Rookie of the Year.
National League Rookie of the Year will be, let's see, Noah McLean.
Nolan McLean, I talked about quite a bit in the Mets episode as he was my player focus. I talked about him quite a bit in the World Baseball Classic episodes as he was pitching in the finals against Venezuela. His stuff is just so nasty. There was a video I saw on, I'm assuming TikTok or YouTube somewhere, of the view of his slider from behind home plate, and it's starting at the right-handed hitter's hip, and the catcher is catching it in the left-handed batter's box. It's moving from box to box. It is an absurd amount of movement from 60 feet. It's crazy. Similar to Savage, I think the only thing he needs to do is be healthy. Connor Griffin is not starting the regular season with the Pirates. I think that would have been his biggest competition. And still might be. If he comes up May 1, Connor Griffin could still have a say in this whole race. But I think Nolan McLean is I think he's so good. And he's already done it on the big league stage, where Connor Griffin, I think, is going to take a little bit of getting used to big league pitchers on a daily basis. I think Nolan McLean is just going to be head and shoulders above the rookies in the National League this year.
American League Cy Young will be Garrett Crochet. Yay! Good for him!
Garrett Crochet, this is, and you're going to see a theme here for these next 4, the Cy Youngs and the MVPs, where I think there's going to be some voter fatigue. I think Obviously, if you wanted to make the easy picks, you can go Tarek Skubal, you can go Paul Skeens, you can go Aaron Judge, you can go Shohei Ohtani. And if all four of them won these awards, I would not be surprised. But there is a thing as voter fatigue, and I'm not sure it's going to apply to everybody, because Ohtani is baseball's golden child. Paul Skeens is baseball's golden child right now. And we saw it with like LeBron James, where he has 4 MVPs. He could easily have 9 or 10. We saw it with Mike Trout, if we want to get more recent and maintain this sport. We saw it with Mike Trout. Literally 3 MVPs, could have 6. It's just, there's some fatigue to it. You want to see some new faces. I think Garrett Crochet is going to be the benefactor of that. I also think he's just going to have a better year than Skubal. I think Crochet was so close to him last year, and the Red Sox have beefed themselves up a little bit. I think he's just going to be as dominant as he was last year, and I think Skubal's going to take a little bit of a step back. I think he's going to be pushing a little too hard in the contract year, just trying to overpitch just a little bit. I don't think he's going to be bad. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be a Cy Young finalist. But I think Garrett Crochet is going to win.
National League Cy Young will be. Let's see. Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens, the voter fatigue doesn't apply here. He's, when it comes to pitchers, when it comes to young stars in Major League Baseball, this is the golden child. And the stuff is just so good. I watched this guy pitch, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody at this age do the things he's doing, come out as dominant as he has. He's 23 years old. He's had 2 essentially full seasons. He has yet to have an ERA above 2. Like 196, 197 ERAs in back-to-back years. That is just ridiculous. And he's pitching on, let's be honest, a horrible team. An absolutely horrible team. It's just, he's just so much better than everybody else. The competition in the AL is a little tighter. In the NL, I thought about Logan Webb long and hard. I actually wanted to pick Logan Webb. But I don't think he's going to be able to outdo Paul Skeens really in any category. Yamamoto is another one who I thought about. I don't know if he's going to throw enough innings. I think Paul Skeens is going to make a leap this year in his innings, and I think it's just going to make it that much harder to catch him.
American League MVP will be. Let's see. Bobby Witt Jr. He's the second one. That's saying Webb. Bobby Witt.
Bobby Witt Jr. He was the golden child of the World Baseball Classic, I guess, for lack of a better word. The defense he put on display in that tournament was unbelievable. He's had top 5 finishes in the MVP vote the last 3 seasons. He was a runner-up to Judge 2 years ago. He's got the ability to unseat Judge at the top. He does. Because of the speed. Because of his ability to hit for a high average. He won a batting title in 2024. He took a step back and hit, I think it was like 297 or so in 2025. If he can get that back up to 310, 315, and hit 30 home runs, and steal 30-plus bases, and play ridiculous defense, which doesn't always get taken into account for MVP. I get that. But if he is on the highlight, making ridiculous plays, and hitting bombs, hitting for 50 doubles on top of a 315 average, I think he can unseat the Aaron Judge voter fatigue can come into play, and I think he can unseat him at the top.
National League MVP will be. Let's see. Ronald Acuna Jr. again. Yeah. Another junior.
Ronald Acuna Jr. This one, I think unseating Shohei is going to be much more difficult because he's going to be pitching again. He is the golden child of baseball. I've said that a lot in this episode already, but he is. He's everywhere. You can't get away from him, and rightfully so. I mean, he's the global marketing superstar of this sport. If you look at anything baseball around the world, it's Ohtani. Anything baseball in the U.S. is Aaron Judge, sure. But Ohtani is that guy around the world. And he's got the numbers to back it up. This is a guy, the 50-50 season. He can pitch. And he's one of the 10 or 12 best starting pitchers in baseball when he's pitching. On top of being, in my opinion, the second best hitter in the sport. I think he's one of the best baseball players we've ever seen in history. He is obviously the best baseball player of this generation. In my opinion, he might be the best baseball player ever. But that was a lot of Ohtani talk for a Ronald Acuna MVP victory. I think we're going to get a special season out of Acuna. I think it's going to be special enough to where voters are going to say he did enough to unseat Aaron Judge. I can see him maybe hitting like 290, but I can see an on-base percentage of 430. I can see him hitting 42 home runs and have 35 stolen bases. I can see him playing gold glove defense in right field. I can see him being a table setter for the Atlanta Braves, who are going to be improved over last year. I think they still got a lot of injuries, but I think he's going to be a table setter for that team and just launch them into success. We're not going to see the 40 home runs, 70 stolen base from his MVP season a couple years ago. I just don't think the ACL tears are going to allow for that. But I think 40-30 with a 420 to 440 OBP, close to a 1 slugging, I think it's going to be enough to unseat Shohei. He's had his run. He won 3 in a row, 4 out of 5 across 2 different leagues. But I think it's Acuna time.
American League division winners will be, let's see, Toronto Blue Jays, Detroit Tigers, and Seattle Mariners. Good for you? Yep, 3. He did really good.
These were not hard. Toronto, I think, is the best all-around roster in the American League by far. Potentially the best roster in the sport, along with the Dodgers. Detroit was the toughest of the 3, but even then, I don't think it's going to be that close. I think Kansas City's going to give them a run late into the season, but I think it's going to be a comfortable 5+ game victory in the AL Central. And same with Seattle. I think Seattle's going to dominate this division. I don't think there's a team in this division that has a roster that's even remotely close to Seattle's. The lineup improvements that they've made to go along with the dominant pitching that they always have, I just think they're going to be tough to beat.
American League wild card teams are Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, Kansas City Royals. Yeah, go Yankees!
This is where it got a little bit dicey. Boston, New York, Baltimore, Kansas City, Houston, Texas. We're all in the mix. I think Boston is going to be a lot better than people think. I think the Yankees are going to do their thing and find a way to get into the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be competitive within the division for the long run. I think they're going to be a good 8 to 10 games back at Toronto. But I think Toronto's going to be so much better than everybody. That's still going to put them in the mix for the top wild card spot along with Boston. But either way, I think they're going to find a way to get to the playoffs. They just always do. And Kansas City versus Baltimore was the toughest choice here. Ultimately, I think Kansas City has a much better pitching staff. And I think that's going to lead them to victory, so to say, over Baltimore for the 3rd wildcard spot.
National League division winners will be let's see. Philadelphia Phillies, Chicago Cubs, and Los Angeles Dodgers. Go Chicago Cubs! Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's go!
These were all easy for me. I think Philadelphia is going to take care of business. I think Chicago is going to handily take care of business. And I think the Dodgers are going to handily take care of business. This was an easy choice for me, all 3 of these. If you told me the Mets were going to win the division, I wouldn't be shocked. But I would be slightly surprised. But I wouldn't be shocked. But I think it's Philadelphia's division to lose. And then the Cubs and the Dodgers, I think, are just quite a bit better than the rest of the teams in their division.
National League wildcard teams are going to be New York Mets, San Francisco Giants, San Diego Padres. Padres! Yee!
This one also wasn't very difficult. I guess the biggest issue I had was leaving Milwaukee out, just because they have a knack for finding a way to really win their division. But I think they've taken a step back with the move to get rid of Peralta, the move to get rid of Durbin, and the Cubs have beefed up. I just think that the Cubs are going to be too strong. New York, I think they're going to avenge their failure from 2025, and they are going to keep up with Philadelphia for the most part. I think they're going to lose the division by a couple games, maybe three or four games. But they are going to, I think, be comfortably ahead in the wild card one spot, maybe 4 to 5 games above San Francisco at 2. I think San Francisco and San Diego are very, very equal. I think they're going to be battling it out for position for most of September. Ultimately, I think San Francisco gets a 2 seed and San Diego gets a 3 seed. Wild cards.
Hey. American League champion are... He's really hoping for someone. Toronto's Blue Jays. Yeah! Do you even know who he is? Go! Do you even know who they are?
AL champions. Another one. I hope for the sake of baseball that we get a wild shakeup and we see something like Kansas City versus San Francisco, or Kansas City versus the Cubs, or something along those lines, or let Philadelphia get a chance. This Philadelphia roster deserves a World Series. I don't think we're going to get that. I think it's going to be very straightforward. I think Toronto is by far the best roster in the American League. I think they are going to handily take care of business in the American League. As a Yankee fan, it sucks to say, but I just think they're going to be dominant in this league.
National League champions are Los Angeles Dodgers. Woo! Good for Dodgers.
The Dodgers are the same way. I think I would love to see somebody unseat them. I just don't see it happening. Even if there's injuries, I think they got enough to withstand injuries. They got enough to withstand Yamamoto going down. I think they can handle Ohtani going down. I think they can handle Edwin Diaz going down. This team is just built to withstand anything and get to the World Series.
2026 World Series champion. Wait, keep jumping on. Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
Ultimately, though, I think Toronto is going to get their revenge. I think Toronto should have won last season. I think they were the better team performance-wise. There was a couple fluky plays there at the end of the World Series that cost Toronto the World Series, but I think they're going to get their revenge. And I think Toronto is going to end a damn near 40-year drought to become the World Series champions. I hope my friends in Canada are watching this and they appreciate the fact that it takes a lot for a Yankee fan to pick the Blue Jays to win the World Series. I would say there's 3 teams that I hate more than any other team from a fan's perspective, and that's Houston, Boston, and Toronto. Ultimately, I think Toronto and Boston are going to be playing each other in the ALCS, unfortunately. But I think Toronto's going to win the World Series this year. I think they are going to put an end to the Dodgers' reign as we enter the CBA renewal talks and hopefully make it so we avoid a lockout that's too long, that really causes damage. If LA wins 3 in a row and this roster that they've constructed in a abnormal way gets it done again, then I think those CBA talks are going to be a lot more difficult. So in a weird way, I'm pulling for Toronto. I'm pulling for anybody but the Dodgers from a fan's perspective to avoid a lockout moving forward. But I also am a fan that appreciates greatness, that I love dynasties. I'm a Giants fan, a New York Giants fan that never hated the Patriots because I appreciate and I'm able to admire what it takes to complete a dynasty like that. I think the Dodgers are in the midst of their dynasty. If the Dodgers were to win, I would not be surprised even a little bit. But I'm going with the quote-unquote underdog. I don't know if Toronto's really an underdog, but I think Toronto and the Dodgers have head and shoulders a better roster than every other team in Major League Baseball. I just think both of them are going to cruise through their respective conferences or respective leagues and get to the World Series. Ultimately, Toronto winning in 6 games. That's my prediction. Those are the awards. Opening day is just a few hours away. Hope everybody has a Netflix account. I'm sure everybody has a Netflix account. This isn't new. Watch that game. I am going to be going live immediately following the final outs with a buddy of mine. It's going to be the very first guest spot on the show, so check that out. New to baseball, so it's going to be very fun to get a new fan's opinion, reaction to how the game goes. Hopefully it's a good game, one way or the other, to make that live reaction a lot more interesting. But subscribe to the channel. Like the videos. Follow me on TikTok at TheBatBoyMLB. Check out the live videos. This is going to be kind of a reoccurring thing throughout the season. Going live following the final out is going to be something that I'm going to put an emphasis on this year. So put on the notifications so you know when we go live. And again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in throughout this off season. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully we have a great 2026 season ahead of us. That's all I got. We'll see you guys tonight.